Conflicts of interest. Slide 2. Strom-Gottfried states that a conflict of interest is when a worker's needs or interests threaten to take precedence over those of the client or otherwise impede the practitioner's ability to carry out her professional responsibilities. Slide 3. 4 areas of conflict of interests: the worker's needs and interests versus the client needs and interests, one client's needs and interests versus another client's needs and interests, agency interests or your loyalty to the employer versus client interests, and lastly, transference and countertransference, which I will spend time talking about. So what is countertransference? Countertransference is when a worker has a conscious or unconscious emotional reaction to a client based on the worker's own life history or developmental conflicts. This can lead to the worker projecting their own feelings onto a client. These feelings can be positive or negative feelings. For example, a client may remind you of your child or grandmother, which can be a positive feeling. You may also come across a client that reminds you of a former partner, which may lead to negative feelings. With transference, the client transfers feelings onto the worker. Countertransference and transference can make for ineffective working relationship. Slide 6. Splitting is a defense mechanism that is important to recognize when working with clients. These bullet points point out the various types of splitting. Perhaps the most common form we all know is the example of the child getting a no answer from a parent and then going to a different parent for a yes answer. Slide 7. Triangulation is how splitting shows up. It is important not to get caught in this as a worker. For example, a worker may be working with a family and you find that they may begin to use you as the middle person. A parent may be undecided about what a teenager's punishment should be, so they ask you to talk with the teen and institute a punishment. That is not your role. That would be triangulation. Slide 8. What do you do in these situations? Discernment. Think it through. Is it a problem? Avoid it if possible. If not, resolve it. Discuss it with your supervisor and or client if appropriate. Slide 9. The next 3 slides review highlight the ethical standards. So social workers should not take unfair advantage of any professional relationship or exploit others to further their personal, religious, political, or business interests. Do not exploit professional relationships for personal benefit, gain, or gratification. When social workers provide services to 2 or more people who have a relationship with each other, for example, couples or family members, social workers should clarify with all parties which individuals will be considered clients and the nature of the social worker's professional obligations to the various individuals who are receiving services. Social workers who anticipate a conflict of interest among the individuals receiving services or who anticipate having to perform in potentially conflicting roles, for example, when a social worker is asked to testify in a child custody dispute or divorce proceedings involving clients, should clarify their role with the parties involved and take appropriate action to minimize any conflict of interest. Social workers should Be alert to and avoid conflicts of interest that interfere with the exercise of professional discretion and impartial judgment. Inform clients when a real or potential conflict of interest arises, and take responsible steps to resolve the issue in a manner that makes the client's interest primary and protects the client's interests to the greatest extent possible. In some cases, protecting clients' interests may require termination of the professional relationship with proper referral of the client. Slide 12. So what do you do as the worker? Awareness is key. Pay attention and be aware of the slippery slope. Inform clients or your supervisor when unavoidable conflicts come up. Document, address systematic barriers, monitor for transference and countertransference. Let your client know if there's a possible conflict of interest. Define your role and the role of the client. And remember, good intentions does not equal good ethical judgment.